Welcome to The Explainer. If you spend any time in the tech world, you have definitely heard the term AI agent thrown around. But what does it actually mean? Well, today we're going to break down exactly what they are, what they do, and why so many people are calling them the next giant leap for AI.
Wow, that is a huge prediction. To even begin to understand how we might get there, we're going to walk through a really simple 3-level guide to see what all the fuss is about.
All right, let's start on some familiar ground with level 1. This is the AI you already know and probably use. Think about powerful chatbots like ChatGPT, Gemini, or Claude. They're all built on what we call large language models, or LLMs for short. The way they work is pretty straightforward, right? It's a simple call and response. You give it an input, a question, a command, whatever, and the LLM spits out a text-based answer based on the ridiculous amount of data it was trained on. And this simple example shows you everything you need to know about its biggest strength and its biggest weakness. Ask it to do something creative, like draft an email, it's perfect. But ask it something personal, like, when is my next coffee chat? And it just fails. Why? Because it has no access to your private, real-time data, like your calendar. So this really boils down to two huge limitations. First, LLMs are totally passive. They just sit there and wait for you to tell them what to do. And second, their knowledge is stuck in the past. It's limited to their training data. They don't know a thing about you, your company, or what's happening right now. So how do we start to get around those limitations? Well, that brings us to level 2, what I like to call AI on a leash. This is where we start giving the AI a very strict set of instructions to follow. We do this using something called an AI workflow. So instead of just a single prompt, we actually program a specific step-by-step path for the AI to follow. And this is key, we can give it access to specific tools like an API for your calendar or a weather service so it can fetch the info it needs. Check out this real-world example, a workflow that automates your social media. You could set it up to grab article links from a Google Sheet, then have it summarize them, then draft a post, and finally schedule the whole thing to run automatically every single morning. It follows the exact recipe you create for it. Now, you might hear this intimidating acronym RAG getting thrown around. Honestly, don't worry about it. It's just a fancy name for a super common type of workflow where the AI is told to go look something up from an external source, like a PDF or a database, before it gives you an answer. That's it. But here's the most important thing to remember about level 2. The human is still the one calling all the shots. If that workflow spits out a terrible LinkedIn post, the AI can't fix itself. A person, you, has to go back in, tweak the prompts, and redesign the whole process. The AI is just following orders. And that brings us to the really game-changing leap. Level 3. Autonomous AI agents. This is where we finally take the AI off the leash and actually put it in charge of the decision-making. This is the whole ballgame right here. The one single massive change that turns a workflow into an agent is this. The large language model itself replaces the human as the decision maker. I love this analogy. Think of it like you have two waiters. A workflow is like Mohan. He's super accurate, he'll take your order perfectly, he never makes a mistake. An agent, on the other hand, is like Madhav. He's an independent thinker. He'll notice it's cold outside and proactively suggest a hot soup. He remembers your favorite dish from the last time you were here. He's autonomous.
So let's properly define it. An AI agent isn't given a step-by-step path to follow. Nope, it's given a high-level goal, and then it has to figure out everything else on its own. It has to reason, create a plan, use tools, and, this is huge, critique its own work over and over until that goal is met.
It does this through what's basically an autonomous loop. First, it reasons about the best possible plan. Then, it acts on that plan using different tools. After that, it observes the result of its action. And finally, it critiques its own performance and iterates. It repeats the whole cycle again and again until the job is done right. So a smart pizzeria chatbot built as an agent doesn't just take your order. It remembers your history, your usual Friday night pizza. It has environmental awareness. It can literally check the weather and say, hey, it's cold, want to add a hot chocolate? It can even check traffic APIs and warn you that a snowstorm might delay your delivery. And it does all of this completely on its own. Okay, so let's quickly recap the journey we've just taken, from an AI that just follows basic orders to one that actually makes its own decisions. We started at level 1, where the LLM is passive and the human is making all the decisions. Then we moved to level 2, with workflows, where the AI follows a path, but you guessed it, the human is still the decision maker. And finally, we made the jump to level 3, the AI agent, where the LLM itself becomes the autonomous decision maker. This shift from an AI that just follows commands to an AI that actively pursues goals is absolutely fundamental. It's not just another upgrade, it's a whole new paradigm. And that brings us right back to that wild prediction from the beginning and leaves us with one final massive question. What happens when billions of these autonomous agents start working, learning, and collaborating with each other?